Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words, what they mean, what they say. Mother.
Hello all, and welcome to this. And we have a full show because we're talking All In, the All In weekend, everything crazy that happened happened. So how many of you were there? Brandon was there.
I was there.
Ricky was there. Okay.
Alex.
So we have a good group, I think, to talk about the show in a lot of different ways. So
hold on, real quick before we get into All In, I just want to say this was a fantastic weekend of pro wrestling. Not even just All In. Ring of Honor was fucking fantastic. Kobe World and me and Teo talk about them was fucking fantastic. Alex went to a GCW show he's gonna get into. That was fucking fantastic. Wrestling was awesome this weekend, man.
So the GCW show was really good. I know Alex
Yes.
said it was the best show that it's
The best
you were
GCW, the best
show,
GCW,
the GCW
show.
show that you've ever been
Yes.
to. Which
Yes. Not
Talk about it real quick. Talk about it.
okay.
Show.
So pretty standard venue. Like, it was pretty nice. We arrived there right in time. Do you want me to just go down the card and I kind of give a quick thought on each match?
Just like real overall thoughts.
Okay. So 6-man scramble, bunch of local guys, bunch of small dudes. Gringo Loco was the best guy, easily. Nothing really to see there. Joey Janela versus Man Like DeReese. I never heard this guy before. He came out with Brody Lee Jr., which Brody Lee Jr., that kid is awesome. He gets wrestling. He is going to be amazing when he gets in wrestling because he gets everything really well. Shotzi versus Macardona, very fun little garbage match. Manders and Ricky Morton versus Kerry Morton and Mance Warner, basic tag team match. Then we get the match of the night, which is the I Quit match between KJ Orso and Sam Stackhouse. I'm not a big fan of Sam Stackhouse, and I'm okay with KJ Orso, but this was one of the best I Quit matches I've ever seen in my life. It was brutal, it was bloody, it was violent. Go out of your way to see this match.
Orso is Fuego del Sol, right?
Correct.
Okay.
This match was fantastic, easily the match of the night, and highly recommend it. It's one of the best matches of the weekend, I think. It was great. Then we came down with a tag team match, which was the Alec Price and Jordan Oliver versus Dante Leon and Ninja Mac. No one in the crowd cared about this match because it just came after this super violent match, but they tried. And then we got the worst match, which was Elena Black, which is Cora J from NXT versus Priscilla Kelly. Elena Black is terrible. She's absolutely terrible. She can't wrestle. She needs to be getting massive reps in right now because she sucks. She looks sloppy, lays nothing in. I don't want to see her on any shows I'm watching going forward for a while.
God damn.
Send her to Japan and stiffen her the fuck up.
Jesus.
Awful. And
Ain't
then
no send her to Japan. I don't want her watching in anything I watch. No.
She's got to learn. Got to learn.
You think if she wasn't working another NXT woman, she would have
No, because
better?
Priscilla Kelly's good, and like Priscilla Kelly was trying, and she just looked awkward. She looked like she didn't know what she was doing. She couldn't call in the ring. She needed everything laid out in front of her. It was terrible. It was awful. And also a very sudden finish with the crowd audibly booed because it just was out of nowhere. Then we get the second match of the night, which was Matt Tremont versus John Wayne Murdoch in a death match. And this, I'm going to spoil it right now because this would have had one of the craziest death match spots that I've ever seen in my life, which was these guys are going at it crazy. They've got light tubes. They got all the stuff. John Wayne Murdoch took a gusset plate to Matt Tremont's head, stuck it on there, smacked it with a chair, and Matt Tremont did the Hulk up thing, crazy. The gusset plate fell off, and I swear to God, a spurt of blood came out the top of this guy's head like a fucking volcano. The crowd went nuts. It was insane, and I will never forget that moment as long as I live. It was incredible. If you're a deathmatch fan, you got to see this match. And then the main event.
I've seen a bunch of fan videos of that.
It was insane, dude. It was insane. And then the main event was Effie versus Atticus Kogar. It was fine. It was a little overbooked clusterfuck at the end, but Effie won, so everyone went home happy. But big thumbs up on this show. Go out of your way to see the I Quit match, and if you're a deathmatch fan, watch the Matt Tremont match. But very, very fun show. Easily the best GCW show I've ever been to live.
Question for you, Alex. That
Go ahead.
that I Quit match, that was the
Yes.
blow off, right? That's the blow off, right?
No. Oh no, they did a great angle to set up a rematch down the road, and I'm actually excited to see what they go for it. I will say that conclusively, like KJ Orso and Sam Stackhouse are having such a good feud that I wish it was in a promotion like ROH or something that got more bigger attention, because they're doing a great job at making this blood feud feel personal and make me want to see what happens next. But the finish really plays up the idea that they're going to have another match down the road, and I can't wait to see what they do next.
Okay. All right. Okay. Alex, you might have sold me on that. I might have to check that out.
I'm telling you, man, go out your way to see it. I really, really like that match, and it's good. These guys busted their ass to make this match count.
It's
good. Just want to say it's good. I'm hopeful. I know we could talk about this later when we talk about All In. Like, obviously next year's in Wembley. If All In's going to be like a thing in the United States again, I think it's important that shows like GCW exist, do well, and maybe bring back some of the WrestleMania weekend magic that actual WrestleMania weekend is losing as WWE gets more and more control. So I think that experience that Alex had is important for hopefully bringing that back in future years.
That is one of the reasons why we decided to go to this, instead of like, as much as I wanted to go to ROH, I wanted to like to support the smaller indie shows, and like that way we can keep this going. I was disappointed that like apparently TG PW or whatever, Tokyo Joshi Princess, whatever, I can't remember which one it is.
Tokyo Joshi Princess.
You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They were in Dallas doing shows, and we didn't know about it until after the fact. It's kind of like, oh, that would have been kind of cool.
They still drew a good card.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. That is the most attended Tokyo Joshi Pro show of all time.
I saw that, and I was sold out, and like that's great. I wish they had advertised it, because we would have tried to maybe gone to it. I don't know. We were pretty
2,450 people, which is huge for that company. Huge.
GCW was a sellout. They apparently turned people away at the door.
Okay, all right, Brett. He shut me up this weekend. I will say that he shut me up.
They did a good job.
I mean, to be fair, and we talked about this, they do draw. I mean, GCW, like I think the show when they were here in Kansas City that I didn't go to, the guy that I know that went said that there was a fairly good crowd at the show, especially since where they had it, like parking is a fucking issue. But yeah, they do draw. They have their fans. So.
There were considerably a lot of people that looked like they had never been to a GCW show and just were going because of wrestling.
That's cool.
Which was
great.
Great.
One of these weekends, man.
Absolutely.
Like Kid just said, just surround this huge event with all these ancillary events, and people can just go try stuff out.
Absolutely.
Marquine, you got sold on GCW from Alex. Sell you and Tay sell us on Dragon.
Y'all want to get straight? Okay, all right. Tay, go ahead. You the expert, man. I'll just chime in.
How was the show? What you thought?
I mean, I thought it was Dragon Gate Special of the year. I thought everything either met expectations or over delivered. The two things that were like kind of iffy were the Ultimo Dragon match and the Tanahashi match, but if you know how old those guys are, your expectations were lower to begin with. So,
that Ultimo Dragon match was kind of terrible.
That's all of them. So.
God, man. God. Hey, listen. At least Tanahashi, this is it. He still can kind of move. That dude can't move at all, or he just doesn't want to. I don't know, man.
I think he was saving himself for the G1 too, because that's right around the corner.
Man, Ultimo, it's rough. But go
ahead.
Tell
me, I'm just looking on Cage Match. Tell me about this main event. It's got really high ratings on it.
All right, yeah. Let's start there. Go ahead, Tay. Go ahead.
I'm curious to hear what you say too, because I feel like I'm lower on this than everyone.
Man, that hurts. That hurts.
I thought it was great, but everyone has got it like in the match of the year, and I don't. I had it at 4.25, so it's still a great match, but it was the one match. Everything was just rapid speed. This card, it went by in a breeze, and then the main event, Dragon Gate kind of does the epics, especially with Yamato. They work a little slower, which I don't think took away from the match, but it was just different from the rest of the card because of the pacing. But it was great.
Oh man, Tay, that hurts to hear you say, because it's one moment in that match. There's a part where it drags, and it's around the time where where right before Yamato's comeback, like right before where it just kind of drags for like 5 minutes, right? If not for that, I would have went 5 on it. That ended.
Okay, yeah.
God, that finishes stretch. Good Lord, that finishes stretch, man. Oh my God. Yeah. It was the match of the night, which is kind of crazy because there's another match on the card that's like almost as good. Yeah, man. That got me hyped. That felt like old Dragon Gate. I felt like I was back in like 2008. That whole show, man. I was hyped. I mean, the crowd was like half the size, but it felt like
Yeah, Dragon Gate doesn't draw that great, but they ran the big angle at the end of the show too. So I was talking up Kikta last week. I thought that no DQ match delivered, despite being fairly short. They got a little more time than I thought. And so I thought Yamato was going to win this main event because I expected the group to turn on Shun and Kikta to become the leader. That still happened. It's just Shun won the belt, and then the group turned on him anyway.
Oh.
And so
Kikta gets the first shot. A great angle. It was such a great angle because it was like it almost looked like they came out to congratulate him, and then like, nope, that was good shit. That was good shit.
Yeah, so the angle's gonna play out like I thought. It's just gonna be Shun won the belt, so they don't have to explain the leaving Dragon Gate thing. But he's gonna drop the belt to Kikta in his first defense. So the whole group left except Hamare, and Shun has basically tormented everyone on the roster for the last 3 years.
No friends.
So he's gonna just be a man on an island.
So Hamare, he confirmed to lead the group, correct? Because I didn't watch it yet.
They haven't run a televised show yet, so I don't think it's confirmed, but it's all but confirmed, all but like pen to paper. They're teaming as a tag team on all the undercards, including and Z-Brat, so or on all the house shows. So
okay.
And let's talk about that Triangle Gate, man. Everything else on the show is solid, but that Triangle Gate match is is one person away from ruining like magic, man. Just magic.
I didn't hype this up last week because I knew Bandito would botch because he botches in every fucking match. But everyone else around him just delivered in spades.
Everybody went bam, 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 bam. Felt like those old school, like I said, 2008. That's how it felt. But man,
blink and you miss it. Jackie Rita was doing all sorts of flipping Hurricane Ranas, and oddly, Jackie Rita is my tag team of the year. I love those guys, but I thought the sequence of the match was Mochi Jr. and Ishin, and I'm pretty low on Mochi Jr. compared to everyone else, but they had an awesome sequence there too. And the whole like first 2/3 of this match, I went 5 stars on, but the closing stretch took away from it a bit.
That hurts to hear.
Dito was there, being terrible. Nearly killed everybody 3 times.
Yeah,
man. He sucks.
Yeah,
he sucks.
He at least had a funny botch. He botches in every match, so you just hope he does something that makes you laugh.
You talking about that Tower of Doom botch? You talking about that one?
No, it was before that. It was in the beginning of the match where they tried to set up like the up and over in the corner, and he fell on his ass. He looked on ice skates and just fell on his ass all the way across the ring.
Is there a reason they're using him?
He's young. He's 23, and he's massive. He's like the biggest guy on the roster.
Oh, okay.
And he can do everything. He just fucks it up.
He just got charisma of a Brillo pad, and he fucks up everything. But, you know, that might come later.
But he looks like a giant in Dragon Gate. He's probably a legit, like, 6'2", which is 7 feet in Dragon Gate.
Yep.
You mentioned in the Discord that they don't have any more big shows the rest of the year. Do you think that's a mistake, given if they do get some buzz off some of these matches or anything?
So I thought they didn't have any, like, big shows as in like PLEs, pay-per-view kind of things. But I think it's more so because of
Tay, you did it. You did it.
I did it, but they're all on TV out there. TV in the network.
So. What about Final Gate? Isn't that a big show that they usually close the show year out?
I think they are still going to do Final Gate and that sort of stuff. It's just because of the arena situation in Japan. Everything's in small arenas. Korakuen is their biggest venue the rest of the year.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Is that where Final Gate's going to be taking place?
I don't think Final Gate is announced yet, but
okay.
I would suspect that's the case.
But yeah, y'all check out that show, man. It's one of the best shows of the year.
Those two matches for sure.
If you're low on time, definitely those two matches, 100%.
I went 4 on the Brave Gate match, Roya Tanaka versus UT, and then the Keekta Strong Machine J no DQ match too. So I had 4-star matches on this show.
And I'm right with him. I actually went a little higher on the Brave Gate match. I went 4 1/4. So
I'm looking forward to the show. It looked good on paper.
Hey, Josh.
Yes.
What did you think of Ring of Honor's Supercard of Honor?
It is exactly what I keep screaming that Ring of Honor needs to be. That you need young guys, you need people from maybe not the stars from the other promotions, but people from other promotions that people like and people get into. I would have liked to have seen even more of that, the younger guys from like New Japan that they're not really pushing, but they're high on. Same thing with CMLL, maybe the younger guys that just aren't in that, on shows like this to go with like the younger guys who don't get a lot of time in AEW. I feel like you had a lot of that on this show. The main event, of course, was not that. That could have main evented a lot of shows anywhere. But yeah, this is what I want Ring of Honor to be, and it was nice to see. I know LV kind of said the same thing in the Discord before I watched it, so because I was at work. But
didn't this feel like one of those classic WrestleMania weekend shows?
It did.
Supercard of Honor, yeah.
It did. The thing is they didn't put on a show at WrestleMania weekend, so this probably would have been the show that they would have put in WrestleMania weekend. But I think
it worked out well.
I think to Alex's point, the fact that and to Marquis' point, the fact that they're putting this show on, the fact that you had the GCW show, the Joshi Pro show, I think there was another show as well that was kind of
House of Glory was down there.
House of Glory, yes.
Glory was down there. I think one of the Texas promotions had a pretty big show as well over the weekend. So it was good. It didn't have the hype because it's not WrestleMania weekend, and WrestleMania weekend didn't become WrestleMania weekend for a long time. I don't think people realized that it took even when people started doing shows along with Ring of Honor, it still took it a few years before it became what we know as at least what we think of WrestleMania weekend. Maybe the first time that we really thought about it would have been, what was the Ric Flair retirement match?
That was 08.
Yeah, in 08. I think that maybe the first time because it was in Orlando. They did the TNA shows there too. That may have been kind of the first time. Yeah. That's a different discussion for a different time, but they did do the shows. Right. But yeah, I think that's it. It would take a while, and I do hope. I would hope that if All In is going to be more of an international show, that All Out is where they start doing this type of thing in the U.S. because I do think it's needed because WrestleMania weekend this year did not feel like
it didn't feel special.
It felt like, and there was a lot of good stuff. We came on here and we said, hey, there was a lot of good stuff, but it felt so disjointed and it just didn't feel like WrestleMania weekend. And the hype wasn't there either, but I think a lot of that had to do with a lot of people were just down on the weekend because there was so much WWE involvement with everything. So,
do you think I definitely felt some momentum around AEW in the whole weekend coming into it, not just because I was going, but I just felt some excitement behind it. Do you think next year that they could still do Wembley and do 40, 50,000 people or whatever, but also potentially run another baseball stadium here in the US and get 20, 25,000 people for another show? Do you think that's something that will be possible? I don't know how many of those people that were in the building on Saturday traveled previous couple years to.
That's a good point.
Yeah, to Wembley. So I'm curious on what fan base here, which would be somebody like me, would travel to like one of these ballparks when I'm not going to go to, potentially go to Wembley or anything.
I would love for them to try. Honestly, I would love for them to try.
I think if you get momentum, I think it's super possible because, they and we'll talk about this the late ticket buying, which is good because it ends up getting them to a level, but at the same time, it really does, I think, hurt with. There's another side of it where it hurts with the hype of the show because it looks like the shows aren't selling until like the very last second, which is great at the end, and it's great when you look at everything, but there's not a lot of hype. In shows like this, you need hype. Like that's one of the things that you have to have going into like a really big show. I think if they could get that, they definitely could do that. Because the thing with it, when they do Wembley, you're not just getting some Americans to come. You're getting pretty much, that's a European show. You're getting a lot of Europeans coming, the rest of Europe basically coming to Wembley, which helps that. So you don't need the U.S. or even the North American fan base. And if you can put it if you can put another show on in a stadium that can attract, especially the Lucha fans, a big enough card where I think what we thought a lot of what was going to be all in that wasn't on all in. I think you could do that. I think you could easily maybe get to, I don't know about 25. I think 20 would probably be a better, maybe number. They could get to 25. I mean, they ended up with some stupid number at the end of the.
Last I heard was like 28, 29 was like the final count.
Yeah.
For all this year.
I think if you're doing both shows, you need those kind of like once in a lifetime, kind of like Omega Okada draws too. And I don't know how many of those you got in your back pocket and how you can split them to put one on each.
But maybe
show.
you use those matches to hype up I hate to use aura, but you hype up the aura around the all-in name so that way next year people are like, oh man, remember we saw this, we saw this, we saw that. So we're gonna go to this show.
How many of those are left though? How many?
No, but one of the things I was gonna add that I should have added it when we did the pre-show because I was really hoping Tony would do this. The spectacle part of this show. Right, because it's very evident they see this now as their big show. This is the big show. The spectacle part of this show I felt was so much better than the spectacle part of WrestleMania, and that's insane to say because that should not happen.
True.
It should not happen at all. As much as I love AEW. That should not happen because that's
and even if you disagree, like it's still a conversation and it probably shouldn't be. You know what I mean?
You're saying they made it feel like a bigger show than WrestleMania is what you're saying?
Because think of the entrances, right? Like those WrestleMania entrances all were just like, okay, what is this? There were a lot of entrances on All In that felt big. They felt like WrestleMania entrances. They were elaborate. They didn't all land. But they were all, I think, at the very least, I think the worst entrance on All In was still a lot better than the worst entrances we saw at WrestleMania because they were like nothing. Like the Cody entrance was nothing. I'm trying to think of nobody had like an entrance that anyone was going to go out of their way and be like.
The biggest one was Punk having Living Color.
Yeah.
What she's done before.
Which she's done before, exactly.
Right. Yeah. So it's just like, and
the women didn't have anything. None of the women had anything.
No.
Right.
Nothing like what Mercedes had.
No. Like that Mercedes entrance was like, and it wasn't big. It wasn't like a big, super elaborate, but it was still better. It came off.
It was cool. It
came off bigger. You knew Tony's entrance was going to be like everything it was, and it came off better. Right. I thought, Hangman's entrance was kind of amazing in a lot of ways, and it was super simple. But a lot of that stuff I think was missing from WrestleMania. And I think if you add that stuff to your show, to your WrestleMania, as much as you don't want to compare the two, I think it matters. I think it makes people go, oh, that looks better, especially when people were so down.
Look, how many videos have we seen of these like WWE fans going, so I watched All In for the first time, and let me tell you, you know how many videos you didn't seen like that over the past few days? Yeah, man, you're right about that, 100%.
I think maybe it wasn't as big as some Manias for sure, but it felt like a spectacle. It felt special. It felt like a show that you had to be there. You had to be watching this. And that's what they need. That's what they need to be pushing for, is making this something that like all wrestling fans need to see, because you just don't know what's going to happen.
Phil and I, when we walked into the stadium with Brandon and Chase, and this was early. We got there before the pre-show, like at 11:15. Like no one's in their seats yet. Everyone's still in the concourse. And I remember Phil and I just looked out into the stands and we're just like, God damn, like this feels like a big deal. It feels like we're in a spectacle WrestleMania-esque environment, even though no one's in their seats yet. Just how like the stage looked, how the interest of fans like waiting outside to come in. It's just this thing as a fan that you just feel it in the air almost, you know? And then the production side backs it up even more so during the show.
Right. Like, I don't think I think there were, I don't know if you guys have seen like the show, like the pay-per-view show.
I've seen half of it.
But there were some like production weird things, like they kept panning way out.
Yeah,
I mentioned that. I think I mentioned that to the kid. They kept panning out to the crowd. I'm like, they gotta stop doing this.
But they love that, especially when they got a big crowd. They love doing that shit. Where
they were like panning out like too much, and they were like just keeping it there, and everyone looks tiny in the ring, and it came off really weird.
Yeah, don't do it during the action, especially.
Huh?
I said, don't do it during the action, especially.
It came off really weird. And other than that, I think production-wise, it was really well done. But like I said, I think those entrances, the pyro, the fact that just watching it, and I watched it yesterday, just came off a bigger deal, especially in a year when so many people were just really down on like the WrestleMania experience itself. I think that's important. So,
and there was not just the experience, but financially too. Like Adam posted like this video of someone who went to both.
I saw that one.
Paid for his Mania tickets versus what he paid for his Mania tickets just got him the seats and a mediocre show. And for All In, he got like ringside seats and he got all these perks on top of it. And
chair.
And a much better show on top of that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like that stuff matters too. The dollars and cents of it.
I think you're going to start seeing where WWE's going to start pricing themselves out of getting people to come to these shows.
I would, and this is not a me thing. This would be something that somebody would have to like really research. But I'm just saying, somebody would have to like that has access to what I'm about to say. I kind of wonder, given how WWE has priced themselves, I wonder how many of those tickets that are being sold are not being sold necessarily to fans, but are being sold like corporate seats, corporate things.
Hey, we are such kindred spirits. I was waiting because I didn't know if you were going to say it or not, but that's what I was thinking.
It's just like your super popular sports, teams
where you can give it to your employees and that sort of thing. I'm wondering if that's part of this. Like the money's the money, and it doesn't matter. I mean, that's like you said, that's what sports do. That's not a horrible thing to do, but I wonder if that's kind of disguising like kind of what's going on, because it's super hot, it's super popular. It's, hey, what's something that you guys want to go see? Okay, we'll just start buying these tickets and we'll start giving them out. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if that's part of this, but
All right. Before we get off topic, Supercard of Honor, I think everyone needs to watch the show. It was really, really good. And the main event, spoiler alert, my favorite match of the weekend. It was my favorite match.
My lady said the same thing. She was like, ain't shit on this show better than what we saw last night.
I can kind of, battle with myself, but I really think that was the best match I saw.
I think there's, probably 5 matches between All In and Supercard of Honor
Where I can see someone saying,
yeah, we're
I'd say so.
because they're very close, and it really
Yeah.
depends on like what you were into, what you weren't into. Where I think it's very close. So
Bandito and Takeshita was fantastic. I would not laugh at anyone that says it's their favorite match of the year. The rest of the card was really, really good. It was consistent. A shout out to Nick Wayne and Teton for having like probably the second best match of the night for me. Like
I
that
had
match was
to go and open the door for Kid and
Yeah.
miss the finish of
Oh.
this match. I was so into it. But yeah, that was a great match for sure.
That was a very good
I
match.
enjoyed that.
He
in my
legitimately texted me saying, "Kid, can you wait a sec? This match is really good."
I'll say this though. I like the match because it was just very consistent. But like in my opinion, like that match quality should be on their weekly TV every time. There's no
yes.
there's no reason for these matches not to be
There's
on.
no reason, man.
I don't know about like
30
I would
minutes.
say show ways.
Not the main event.
You mean like the rest of the show?
Throughout the show, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because if you really think about it, they didn't use that many guys they wouldn't have access to anyway.
No,
There were
right.
like there was Takeshita who wouldn't be on that show every week, and a couple of the CMLL guys.
Yeah, but the women's four-way women's match, like all those people should probably be available at all time.
Athena and Thunder Rosa.
And Thunder Rosa.
Nick Wayne, you should be able
Heck,
to. Lee Moriarty.
Even Blake Christian versus Jay Lethal on the pre-show was a really good match.
Yeah, it was.
Why aren't you putting this stuff on ROH TV? I probably would be paying more attention if this was the quality we were getting.
Man, I would have loved for that vein of WrestleMania weekend Supercard of Honor shows if they had like a 6-man CMLO match on here where they just went
There you go. There you go.
Hey, we don't got Dragon Gate, Dragon Gate.
Well, and especially
or 6-man, we can put in CMLO matches.
Especially being in Texas, if you hyped up a CMLL 6-man, you probably could have sold some more tickets.
Kind of shocked they didn't do that. Now that y'all break it down like that.
Yeah,
I think CMLL still ran on Friday.
Yeah, I would say that's the big deal.
Oh yeah. You're right. I didn't think about that angle of it. You're right.
Hey, maybe next year they understand like, hey, we have these shows around. Maybe we can bring somebody on Saturday or something like that. So I don't know.
They don't need to bring it. They don't need to bring in the biggest stars, but like bring in tell CMLL like, hey, send us 6 guys you want to give some buzz to.
Yeah.
Right.
They can spare 6 guys.
They also they can't cap the building. That was a big while
Yes,
we were watching the show
God.
on Friday. We were having a good time watching it. We were all talking about the main event, but we couldn't stop talking about. God damn!
Y'all wish I could have been there.
Well, I also told Chase, like, if they did this like in a regular arena, could they have drawn like 3,000 fans? I think so.
Absolutely for this match.
Honestly, I think
you
if they
would yourself like 2,000 fans.
If they ran the same place they ran for Collision and Dynamite, I bet you they could have, with this card, they probably could have sold it reasonably well. But I think they wanted to hype it up as like a sellout show, maybe. That's the only reason I could see them not.
I mean, I know a lot of people were really mad that they couldn't,
Chase was very mad.
Yeah, well, I knew a lot of people were really mad that getting tickets to that show, to Supercard of Honor, was such a pain in the ass, and that they had to wait for so long, and because they were trying to
get the VIP,
right.
Like that,
I know a lot of people were really mad about that. So
could there be a situation because AEW has been running very small buildings for TV? Could this be a strategic thing of like trying to build buzz of like, hey, we want more tickets and creating a demand for more tickets maybe going forward?
For this, it felt like, hey, let's do our partners who we did 8 shows with back, a while ago in the residency. Let's do them a solid. We'll give them a show they can be able to sell out. That's what it felt like for me.
Okay, that's fair.
But moving forward, like you can easily get like 3,000 to 4,000 fans every year
because it looked like a small crowd. It was a good crowd, but it was a small crowd.
Also, before we move on to All In, I just want to point out when I listen to guys like Walker Stewart and Ian Riccaboni, I just go, man, this is the peak of this. Like, this is the peak of Ian Riccaboni during that main event.
He was
so
great.
Fantastic, man. So fantastic. And
Priest is good too.
He is good. They bounce off each other well, but Ian Riccaboni really is special, man. He really is special. Seriously.
I'm right there with you where I say Ian Riccaboni and Walker Stewart are the 2 best commentators in wrestling right now.
It's like a whole nother level when you hear those dudes, man. Yeah.
Also, I do have to say Don Callis is great on commentary for the main event because I like having a heel commentator who actually like calls it down the middle and gives props to the babyface. I always enjoy that stuff.
Athletically, I really enjoy Bandito, but he's just not the alpha.
There you go.
how it
Exactly.
is.
I love that
Yeah.
shit. That's great.
Talk about All In.
Do you want to do bottom up or top down? What do you want to do?
I feel like we should go from the top.
Well,
Go
first,
down.
I want to talk
gotta
about
build to the
being
top, man.
experienced a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, you guys talk about being there.
I mean, it's just really just to put on to the point that both these guys said, where like I don't have any interest in going to WrestleMania anymore. Like I don't think I would enjoy being there in person, even though you know a lot of people have more fun being at a wrestling show live than they would watching. I would not have much fun watching there live, and like this is something where like I haven't been to WrestleMania since 2016, I think. And this definitely felt like that for sure.
Let me ask you. Let me caveat that just a little bit. Would if they put WrestleMania, because it's going to be in Vegas again, if they put WrestleMania somewhere that was cheaper to go, would you go just for the weekend and not go to the WWE shows? Would you be one of those people, or is it just not? No, that's a little off topic.
No. Probably not. Just because I feel like if I'm going to travel somewhere, I'm going for whatever the main attraction is. So I haven't had the opportunity to go to a WrestleMania weekend for just like, well, I can't say that because I did go to Supercard, or was it G1 Supercard in New York?
Yeah. That was
and I went up there for that and I came right back home. I didn't go to WrestleMania.
That's different. That's different though. That was
MSG.
Yeah, but I just don't have any interest in sitting through WrestleMania. I don't think I would enjoy it. I didn't watch it at home. Like I watched maybe 2 matches for both 2 nights.
I can't imagine watching one of those shows with that much downtime at the live. That would drive me.
I would lose it for sure. And I would just be
I'd be miserable.
Debbie Downer. Like I just want to go home. Like I don't want to be.
Especially if I flew out there and I paid all these money for these seats and y'all just standing around. That would piss me off.
Right.
You can only go buy so much merch. You can only go buy so much. Yeah, I mean. You know.
But the feeling that I used to have, even when I wasn't like a super fan of WWE, but you still enjoy like the event and going to WrestleMania, I definitely felt that beyond more because obviously I was into the show, I was into the matches that were being presented, and then like I said, you have all of these people who are just like you who enjoy the wrestling that you do, and we're all going to go watch the show. Like, yeah, it was such a good feeling being at it this weekend.
I'm glad you said that because I have never been to a WrestleMania yet. And one day I know I have to go just to say I've been to a WrestleMania. But with a show like this, and if they're going to keep doing all-ins in the U.S., I don't feel the need to rush out and see a WrestleMania. This was my WrestleMania. Spoiler alert, this was my favorite show I've ever attended in my life as a wrestling fan. This was what I wanted. It was a spectacle. It was great matches. And if they keep coming back every other year, I will keep trying to talk my wife into letting me go every year because, goddamn, this was amazing. And I would love to go to WrestleMania if it comes close, but I'm not going to travel to fucking Vegas. I'm not traveling to New York or California. I'll wait for it to come to, like Philadelphia, sure, maybe New Orleans, but like it's just like it's now situational. It's not like a must that I have to go to WrestleMania as soon as possible because I have this kind of experience.
Alex, I think it's a good chance that your wife would be like, "Hey, let's go to the All In."
Maybe
that's a good chance.
If they go to New Orleans, that like I was talking with my buddies after the show, like where they could go, and like New Orleans is what I'm like, please God, I can get my wife to go to New Orleans.
I will say because the length of the show is obviously a topic online, probably something we'll talk about. I can say for us there, it did not feel like a drag. Like not at all.
I had no idea it was 6 hours. I had no idea.
I'm gonna say this right now. I think people complaining about like there are AEW shows you can complain about the length. Just because not every show needs to be 4 hours. Not what we've talked about this. This is a special show. This is their big show of the year. This didn't feel like that, that long of a show. I will say I think part of that is because they did do what I wanted them to do, and they put a lot of the big matches at the end of the card, and it still worked fine, and I think that helped. But I feel like people complaining are just trying to find something to complain about.
I think I think what helped a lot was when the show was over and we got out, it was still like 7:00 at night. So we could still go out and do something. That helped a lot. But I mean, we were so jacked up after the show. Like my buddy was like, he was ready to watch the whole show over again live. Like
Phil,
Can't put a replay on.
yeah,
like he was ready.
we got back to the Airbnb and I immediately put on the Amazon
That's awesome.
to watch, especially for like the big matches, the stuff we really wanted to see live. Like that Tony, like we'll get to it, but that pop when Tony won felt monstrous live. And I hope like there is some
monstrous in this house too. I'll tell you that too.
Well, of course, in that house.
There was a bigger pop though. There was a bigger pop.
And there was we should say that one thing that helps is that some people were saying that the crowd was quiet in the earlier undercard portions of the show. And we can say, and I know John Alba said the same thing, that if anything, this might be a translational problem. The acoustics of doing a show in a baseball stadium in particular, because they're not symmetrically built the same way, like there could be a bunch of reasons for that, but it did not live like that gauntlet, the male gauntlet, which is maybe the most controversial match on the show. Maybe it's because as a live crowd, everyone's counting along with the clock. That helps. You don't know, like everyone's curious, is there going to be a surprise? And you don't know that there's no surprises until the end of the match. So you're kind of attuned to that, I guess, as it's going. And at least for us, like everyone seemed with it, like our section was alive for certain parts of the match that maybe other sections were not. And maybe that comes across more on TV instead of our section. But almost never, with the exception of maybe that 4-way, I don't remember a time where I was sitting and I was like, oh man, no one cares about what's going on. I know it sounded that way live, but take it from a lot of people that were there live, not just us three. That's not the vibe we got in the building. Like a lot of people were really into most of the show.
I think you hit the nail on the head with the acoustics of the venue, because we definitely noticed a lot. Like we're like the ringside section would start to chant, and by the time it reached the back, the front would stop chanting it, and it was hard to get like the whole arena to chant at the same time.
Well, I think I will add, just as someone watching, I think one of the other things is one of the things I noticed watching was because of the way the floor was set up, because the floor was spaced out a lot. I think that didn't help either, but I think that it's just running a baseball stadium. I think because this baseball stadium's not made.
And that was going to be my hot take about the show. Felt big. Everything we said about the presentation, all awesome. But I think the older I get, the more I hate watching wrestling shows on TV in stadiums, because all you see is big gaps of people and people walking. Even before the big matches, you just see people walking. Sit your asses down, man. It's just a pet peeve of mine.
It's not. Maybe it's not the most aesthetically pleasing thing to be in person, where it might look a little bit better. I don't know. Like I felt like the baseball stadium worked a little bit better than like a football stadium. You know, it didn't feel empty in that building.
No,
like
it
they
was
had
not.
a couple of portions like blocked off and like black, you know, as far as like the tarps and everything, but it didn't feel like the first one of the things is the WWE did like a SummerSlam a couple years ago, I think in Nashville, and like it felt like 40% of that stadium was just blacked out. It did not feel like that.
Because it was just the top, right? It was just the top. That
No. There was people sitting up at the very top, but
it was more so the side, like left,
like the camera, like essentially where the camera was. I think it was like
the hard
maybe two sections that were like closed off. I feel like
the stage took up most of the outfield. It looked like.
Here's what I would love in a perfect world to see. I wish the U.S. had more soccer stadiums that were like 30,000 instead of
with a roof.
With a roof.
With a roof that helped a lot for this show.
I think that would be the perfect venue, because you would get the acoustics of an actual stadium, but smaller. Without it being one of these college stadiums that is like, okay. But I think because you do have some soccer stadiums in the U.S. that are like that, but they're just not enough, and I don't think they're in places where you would want to put on an event like this. But that would be my
And to be clear, because I don't want to sound hypocritical, like when you do get 100% crowd buy-in, like in the pop for the main event, of course, then yeah, that'll translate on TV, no problem. I think the distinction is when it's like 50% or 60%. Right. I don't think you catch that.
And we've seen that at WrestleMania too, where people are like, oh my god, the crowd was insane live, and everyone's like, oh, it was just kind of okay.
It's a classic issue. It's
right, because you got a lot of people and like,
and also just miking a crowd. It's always difficult.
I will say that stadium had, this is going to sound random. Brandon's going to immediately like cut me off and transition to the next topic, but that stadium had no coffee. And for an afternoon show, I did not.
Because we got there in the AM technically,
right?
So yes. I can feel what you're saying.
And to the point that I was going to go to the bar and just get an espresso martini, and they said they don't even have that either. And I'm a Cuban. I drink gobs of coffee every single day. I had to switch to sugar-free Red Bull, and I was wired more so than I'm used to.
0 stars, no coffee.
So please, Global Life Field. Like,
Phil says fill half of it. Oh man!
One thing to point out though, classic AEW issue. They had a merch stand outside, which is cool, but inside there was only one fucking merch stand. For God's sakes, there was two. I didn't see the one. Okay,
it was still too little though.
They need more merch stands. It's an issue every fucking show.
2 merch stands for a stadium. Oh, that's crazy.
The line was insane. The line was insane.
Phil had to wait in line like over 45 minutes. He did it in the pre-show and he got everything, and he didn't miss a match.
I don't know what it is to overcompensate. Like, just if you're gonna take a loss, just take a loss on the merch and like just bring everything.
Put the shit online.
Just put everything
afterwards.
On
People will buy the shit. I want my fucking AEW All-In shirt. I couldn't get it. I was pissed off.
Yeah, I noticed at least at Double or Nothing, the in arena merch was really insufficient compared to what they
always do that. They always do that.
I don't get it.
Annoying.
It feels like a missed opportunity.
It's been like that since the pandemic. It wasn't like that before the pandemic. It's been like that after the pandemic.
Well, AEW should know that when I'm in the stadium, I'm in the mood to watch AEW. I'm an engaged fan. You can catch me at that point. If the merch line is empty, to go up and buy your shirt. If you tell me to just buy it online, I come home and then I have 100 other things to do, and it's not top of mind. I'm not in the mood anymore. Like you need to catch me at that moment, and it's lost opportunity. I think by not doing
unless you're gonna start like during the show. Say, hey, get on the app now. Buy the merch now.
I would do that.
It'll be waiting for you at home. That side of thing. Unless you're going to do that, which they don't do. Nope. That would be the. But anyways, I have one more question before we actually get into the show, because this is one of the things when we're like at a big show like this that I always kind of wonder. Was there anyone that before the show you would say was surprisingly over? Like when we went to WrestleMania in Miami, like Danielson was already crazy over, but the extent that he was over that weekend was kind of nuts to me. Would you say there was anybody?
No one comes to mind.
Not to that extent, but
right. There's no one that like got a huge pop that I wouldn't expect to get a huge reaction.
Like even before the show, like just the murmur of like
people. But the murmur,
Who's House Swerve's House is like almost like a new version of the Woo, the Ric Flair Woo.
That was
just scream when they're walking through the concourse. Like, it's Who's House Swerve's House. That's what they yell now.
I think it was a buddy of mine that said like he was just in the bathroom taking a shit and like some fan just like whose house and like the whole fucking bathroom screamed and stuff.
Well, like the chant naturally, like at Hurricanes games, like everyone always chants, "We got some Canes over here!" Whoosh whoosh.
You muted.
It lends itself to that.
Yeah. Okay. But the only one that I could really think of that was kind of like, oh, great, was like the return and the gauntlet. I was surprised by that pop.
Okay.
Let's go through this show.
All right.
We'll spend.
How we doing? Are we going bottom?
No, we're gonna spend most of the time talking about the big matches. Then we'll do the ancillary stuff. So I mean, the main event. Like we've been talking for months about this Death Rider storyline. And
do we want to apologize to Kid now?
Nah.
Okay.
Brandon was with me. Brandon was with me.
Yeah. I mean, I had to turn. I had to get to that point, but I mean, yeah, we had to get to that point where like Moxley was the foil that everybody wanted to see lose, and you could feel that throughout the entire stadium from start to finish.
Was there any like intimidation of that he wasn't going to lose?
I didn't feel it. I did not feel it. At least in where we were, I didn't feel like there was a chance that Page was going to lose.
Yeah, that's probably the thing I turned on the most by the time I got there. Just like the day of the show, walking through the arena, you could just like, nah, he's not losing tonight. Like, I know I was anxious about making it Texas Death and what that would imply. We'll get to that, but it just seemed like, oh no, there's no way. There's no way.
It was one of those things like during the match, I'm like, it was as the match went on, it was like, there's no way he's losing. There's no way he's losing. But like before that match, like I told a kid, like, and then we ran into each other. It's like that was the one match where like any other match can go any other way. This match has to end with Hangman winning. It had to, because I can't imagine what the reaction would have been if Hangman hadn't won.
Or as Brandon mentioned to me after MJF won the gauntlet, if MJF had cashed in at the end of the night, that would have been real bad.
I wanted Hangman to walk up that ramp and go behind. Just
there was some confusion because like I don't think they're doing the Money in the Bank bullshit. I think it's just for a title shot.
We'll see. We'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow. We'll find out tomorrow.
The guy who has it can very much.
It fits him so much.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope not.
This was probably my second favorite match of the weekend. I would probably go the tag, then this, then Bandito Takeshita. I think comparing a match like Bandito to Takeshita to this main event is like almost arguing
completely
two different sports. They're not at all. Like I rewatched the main event and I would probably give them both the same star rating. But I have no idea how you rank one over the other. They're because they do so many different things. But the pop was very over live. The Danielson return was awesome. Like that to me felt as big as Hangman actually winning the match. Was that Danielson return? Like the crowd erupted.
What was live? What was like the reaction when the Darby video popped up on the screen?
It was pretty big. And then like
you couldn't hear him. Like no one heard that video.
No one heard him.
We were just cheering, like seeing him. But like,
yeah,
I want to point this out. I was talking about buddies. Like we were like all joking about Darby descending from the rafters from like day one, and like I looked at the fucking top of the rafters like from the beginning of the show. I'm like, you could rappel down from that. And then when he came down, like he was all the way on the top of that fucking building. It was insane seeing how high he was. Like it scared the hell out of me.
It took too long.
It took too long. It took way too long. It took way too long.
They did a good job stalling though. They did
a great job. Also, a small thing that I didn't know until Joseph's write-up about this match, which was excellent. I love the fact that all the run-ins didn't have music. It was just the guys running out. It made it feel so much more organic, and the pop was from the guy getting in the ring and getting involved. It wasn't from the music hitting for the big reaction. It was about the guy getting in the ring.
And like, Tay, I know you made the WrestleMania. And look, the WrestleMania 40 comparison is fair. Like, it's a big show. You want to pay off the big story. The Death Riders operate similarly to the Bloodline. I totally understand. But where I think this match is different is those entrances seem to stop the match. It seemed like there was a break in the action while we milked Cena's pop, Solo's pop, The Rock's pop, Taker. This didn't feel like, I understand, like Darby took forever to get down. But Danielson coming in, you don't hear his entrance. You don't hear him milking his way to the ring.
He just popped
up. He came through the crowd. That's the awesome thing is like we were all talking about like where did he come from, and I didn't know where he came from until I saw like a fan video of him. And like that was great because like you didn't know it happened because I was looking at Darby and all of a sudden like I hear like the crowd react. I'm like, wait, what's going on? And I looked at the ring and there's Danielson in a blue tiger match. It's like, oh shit.
Half the entrances and run-ins for the Cody match weren't really relevant to the story.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, all fit here.
Yeah, everyone had a Undertaker coming out and like Cena coming out, and it just
it's funny because we all came on here and said if they do the run-ins, they need to do it a certain way, and they did the exact opposite of what we said.
But
it worked.
But they did the one thing I said though is that. At the end, Hangman defeated Moxley. It wasn't because of anyone else getting involved. He beat Moxley, and that was the big thing I said.
Well,
you know what's funny though? That Darby video. Did y'all notice he was like struggling to breathe? He said, "I'm taking everything from you."
I almost wanted to believe like he was on his way down. Like,
he probably did that video. He probably literally was on
Yeah, you can tell he was. He was.
I would love it if he was like he was on his way down, like, shit, I forgot to do the video. He had to go back up or some shit.
One, to Josh's point about doing the run-ins at the end, even though they, like we said, it didn't stop the match, didn't break the action. Every babyface was urgent, and we got to the finish. Because I do think, I mean, Swerve did have a key role in the finish. Like, if you want to say that Hangman chokes out Moxley, that's fine. But the Swerve interference was integral to him winning, and I think it's integral to the story, so I think it's fine. But Josh, to your point, though, what we were worried about was the crowd would be dead until the run-ins come. Right. That did not happen. Absolutely
not.
I know the moment that the crowd woke up, and it was Hangman stabbing Moxley with that fucking fork and busting him open the hard way. The crowd went ape shit for that.
How much fucking aspirin did I because
to get that to happen?
Yeah,
he did enough.
Because it wasn't just like you could tell it wasn't thick blood. It was like watery, thin.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I was like, holy fuck!
The rate came out way too quickly. Like, he also probably had some sort of pre-gig and like some
definitely
because the rate that blood was coming out was not.
I was just
awesome.
Like, oh my god,
it was awesome.
And I do want to say, I think I will not spend hopefully not too long on this. I do think that Hangman and Swerve. I understand the people that were disappointed you didn't get it last year. I understand the people that were disappointed you didn't get it this year. Hold on. Hangman's the way it worked out, because Hangman, if they did that match last year, I don't think Hangman was going to win. Hangman shouldn't win the world title until he overcomes these demons that he's battling through, and specifically until he actually treated the situation with Swerve like an adult and did the uncomfortable thing in order to finally have some closure, in order to move on and focus on the title. So if Hangman had just lost last year and the Death Riders had beaten Swerve to win the title, that's probably what would have happened if you didn't do Danielson. Like, I think the Death Riders, the Danielson thing to me was not like the Sting thing. I understand we like the Sting thing. It's all fine. I thought what was annoying about it was he beats the Bucks, and then the Bucks are still the top heels. And that part annoyed me. I just would not have made the Bucks the top heels if we're going to give Sting this moment. Danielson had the legacy achievement moment, but he didn't just go away. Like, part of the Death Riders' heat was how they murdered him in Seattle. Like, in that show was a big part of the heat they got to start that run. And then that heat that they build throughout this whole run to now, I think Hangman winning it now, it's not unrelated to what they did last year. I think having Danielson be the one to be the guinea pig to be killed by the Death Riders instead of Swerve, and then leading into this moment now where Hangman had to overcome his issues with Swerve, I think the Hangman character is better off that they did it this way. I think had they just done the Hangman Swerve match this year or last year, it wouldn't be the same. He's the babyface of the company. He's the main character. He's the hero. It's not just that he's the champion. He saved the company from the evil bad guys. Like, I think if you're a Hangman fan, you can't complain. This is as good as
I will add one thing to that I thought was very interesting. When Hangman came out, I've noticed that they've done this. They brought up that Arena Mexico promo, and they keep bringing up that. I really think that is a tilt into we are a different company. We are not these people, and I think that's embracing part of your fan base that I think has felt kind of like neglected a little bit, because a lot of, I would say, the core, I wouldn't say us, but a lot of the core original AEW fan base was very much, very much of that mindset of things needed to matter, and got them in trouble sometimes. But anyway,
especially for their, and I know, and like, I do give Trish and Sarah a lot of credit on this, Tay, believe it or not. I know it seems like I hate their show. I don't. I like their show. They always meant it is kind of deflating when what AEW is always promoting other people over their own guys. And Hangman is their guy in a way that Punk never was, in a way that Dragon even never can be, in a way that stars from other companies can't be. Like, Hangman is their guy. And I get wanting to prioritize that. And doing it in this way fulfills that, Although I would say, I think Moxley's their guy too at this point. Yeah, and I don't like.
So is Swerve. I think. I think
I'll never say that. I heard that
No.
last thing. So I can
Ospreay-
never.
Ospreay-
I'll never go that far. I'll never go that
Ospreay
far.
is creating a new identity within AEW, though. That's why he's losing all these matches.
He's
trying
off the line, Mark. I'm not doing that. He's off the line. I'll never do that.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, though, but no.
But like if you ask him, he will say differently.
I don't care. I'm telling him the truth, all right? But no, hey, before I forget, the highlight of this match to me, fuck the match. Like, the match is incredible. Jon Moxley's performance might be my favorite performance any pro wrestler has ever put on in a main event. Like, this is the greatest performance of his career.
It was perfect.
From the entrance to the very end.
The image of him literally contemplating death before tapping out was something I'll never forget. Like, the way he sold that like he was literally being killed. And then
For someone
he finally tapped.
who's been through that finish before and was able to showcase a different way of ending that match. Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Well, not only that, but when Darby showed up, his facial expressions when Darby showed up were perfect. I said this because Ricky brought this up, and I was like, the thing about Moxley is Moxley will do things. I do think Moxley is super smart about the things he does. I think sometimes he gets a little too cute, but I think any wrestler can do that. I think the only guy I can't think of that ever got maybe overly cute with things would be Danielson, and that's a different.
You're forgetting a guy.
Who?
The most legit guy to ever live. Double cross wrench, Armadillo, Texas. Don't do that. Don't do that, brother.
I'm just saying that. But I mean, look at. Never mind. We won't go. People forget that WWE run or the WWF run.
Oh, okay. All right, we can do this later. Two
things I want to add. Number one, Kid is 100% right. It was the right decision. I still wanted the Exploding Barbed Wire Deathmatch live, but I will accept it because this match was awesome.
That's right,
I can't
Alex.
complain.
See, Alex knows ball. That's
Don't do it at All In. Y'all are wrong on that. Don't do it at All In.
I agree. I wanted that match live, to see that live.
Fine.
But another thing, I got to give him credit. Like, Moxley tapping out was the absolute right call. He didn't pass out. He didn't get knocked out. He had to tap. And that tap made all the difference in the world. And he sold it perfectly. You guys are right. It was an all-time performance. This was probably Jon Moxley's best match of all time.
Well, it's definitely his best performance. Like,
Sure.
I got to think about that, Alex.
I'm not sure. He's had a lot of great ones, but I wrote this in the Discord.
Absolutely.
After Joseph's excellent article on this, I saw that. I quoted it too. You could say whatever you want about this match. You could say whatever you want about this story. But if you don't acknowledge Jon Moxley's individual artistry in this match, I don't think you get this. Like, you could even not like the match as much as the rest of us. That's fine. You have to acknowledge Jon Moxley's individual artistry in this match, or else you just don't get how this thing works. I'm sorry.
Or you're a hater. There's no way around it. Either you don't understand pro wrestling, or you're a fucking hater. It's just that simple. I'll say it for you, kid, even if you don't want to. You're a hater, or you don't understand this shit.
Always trust Marquine to be reasonable.
All I ask is, if you I understand that I've been defending this angle longer than everyone. I wasn't defending it the whole time, just like after when I thought things were improving back in March. I think that no matter what you thought about this angle beforehand, no matter what you thought about the booking of Hangman and Hangman Swerve beforehand, I hope if you were critical, you will, now that you know how this ended, can you at least reevaluate how this ends up? Because not only is Hangman the top star in the company, the Hangman Swerve story, the relationship, they portrayed to you as the most important thing in this company at the end of this match. Like, we can't be so shallow. It's like, that's not good enough. I need to see the match in the main event. It's like they're giving it the same main event importance, just not as directly. And if that's not as good, can you at least retroactively acknowledge, okay, I know I bitched for 8 months, but I think we ended up in a good place.
I will say this, because I'm the one that screamed about this the most.
Not talking about you,
but here's the thing: it's not the did we wind up in a good place? That was never what I was trying to argue. It was I felt like we needed to get in the good place sooner. That was always my thing. That was always my thing. And I get the fact that you wanted it all in and all this stuff, but like I said, there's a hype factor to pro wrestling. There's a hype factor to AEW improving, which I think is what we all want. And that was always my point. It wasn't that was more of always my point. So
Joe saved it, right?
I did.
Joe did.
I think Joe. Tony Khan
opposite
using
way.
Joe, got a lot of that stink that a lot of people
as the
felt.
buffer. It kind of added the edge back to the Death Riders, adding Joe and those guys to the because truth be told, Moxley looks tough for the longest. He looks tough. He talks like he's tough and all that stuff, but he was acting like some bitch ass niggas, man. Joe came in and like real talk, Joe came in and they got the edge back. You know what I mean? Like, oh, these dudes, yeah, they cheat and stuff, but this is a group of tough guys. You know what I mean? It didn't feel like that before Joe. I will say that. You're right about that.
And it is a credit to Anarchy in the Arena as a concept that it helped give us another pay-per-view cycle with the Death Riders in a way that made everyone feel important because the match was so awesome. That can save you from having another Mox Cope, Mox Swerve. If you had a third of those at Double or Nothing, that probably would have hurt the momentum a lot. But because we had that concept that got us through that pay-per-view, and then we were kind of set the rest of the summer, and now you don't have to worry about it anymore. Now it's blood and guts, move on.
It doesn't excuse the bad Cope match and the bad Swerve match, but at the end, with this finish and everything that came full circle, I could easily see someone saying that this was the feud of the year. The Moxley or Death Riders versus AEW could be a feud of the year.
I don't know.
I could see someone saying
we'll have that conversation later.
I know.
Bugs are crawling under Tay's skin right now, hearing you go.
I was going to ask what Tay thought of the main event.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was quiet. Yeah, what you think?
I know I'm low on it because I know
you're good. I want to hear it. We want to hear
go.
The whole show in general, but especially the main event, and not especially the main event, but I really felt like the whole show was grueling. And I don't know if that's because I didn't watch it live. I watched it the day after, and I didn't have that hype. Like going back to the whole Death Riders thing, like I just tapped out on the brand. I was like, I don't care about any of these stories anymore. So I didn't have that emotional connection. And I think the Texas Death Match, like the 10 count stipulation, really made it drag for me because I was like, man, there's just spot 30 seconds, spot 30 seconds. And I watched it twice because I was so low on it the first time. I was like, I'm the only person that didn't like this. So I watched it again and I felt the same way the second time. I thought it was good.
What about Moxley though? What about Moxley?
I mean, Moxley was good. I think he would get talking
he can be low on it. I mean,
yeah.
He recognizes that. Hey,
Tay, you're a hater. No, I'm joking.
He did say he liked the fork spot. He said he liked the fork spot.
The fork spot was crazy, bro. Like the fact that he started bleeding that fast, man. That popped the whole stadium.
We were going nuts in our section. So again, hey, if you don't like the match, you don't like the match. You know,
he said it was good.
He said it was good.
Okay, he didn't like it as much as us. Okay, yeah, that's fine. You know.
And if you felt like the show was dragging, I could absolutely.
Especially when you didn't watch it live, I can get that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even with the run-ins, like all the run-ins made sense. It still was 11 people staggered 1 to 1 to 1 to 1, and you knew the certain things. You knew Darby had to come. You know Swerve had to come. So all of it mixed together, like you're doing a big spot, which are cool and everything, in the 10 seconds, and you're just like, man, when are we going to get rolling here? So I felt every minute of those 34 minutes.
The 10 counts live were kind of rough because you couldn't hear the referee doing the count. Yeah. So if the fans weren't counting along, it was impossible to know what the count was at. So I could see that for sure.
I agree with that, yeah.
And we were.
I love the 10 counts, but
we were defending the show as a live experience, not feeling long. I totally understand on the broadcast, especially not watching it live. Like 6 hours is a long time, man. Like.
Yeah, that's rough, especially if you know what the finishes are too. Like, if
I would say, especially if you're watching, like I was still hyped to watch it, but if you watched it after, I could see like 6. That's a long But we're the day of, and you're online.
I don't want to say your name wrong, but Guttural Reef. Hell yeah, Marina Shafir. Hell yeah, sir. That chick is amazing. In this role.
I was like, what?
in this role. But yeah,
staying up till 4 a.m. to watch Dragon Gate and then trying to watch the show the day after probably didn't help.
Well, there you go, man. You were on the Dragon Gate buzz still, so.
Well, Tay, are you at least happy? Are you at least happy with what it means for Hangman? Because I know we had that tussle after Double or Nothing about some uncertainty that they would actually do it, but they did do it. Does that change?
I mean, I agree with all your takes on the story and how it built up Hangman. I was so emotionally detached from it at that point that I'm like, I recognize the story is good. I just stopped caring about the story. So I think it is. I think it is the best case scenario for him as a character for sure.
Well said.
That's a very reasonable take.
Yeah,
reasonable take.
So should we talk about this Omega Okada match?
Yeah. Okada versus Omega. Okada beats Omega for the win.
Clean too,
he's the unified champion and like the continental champion and the international champion. He might be all champions.
All the champions.
I don't know. What y'all think of Josh? What did you think of this match?
I thought it was what we hoped it would be, which is not what they once were able to do, but they hit all of a lot of throwbacks, a lot of them doing the greatest hits, a lot of that, and I think it all worked. I really liked it. This is another one of those matches where somebody could say they liked this better than.
Everyone says the weakest Okada, like someone put in the chat.
But that's such
Okada.
that's such a high
the bar that these matches are at.
That's like saying, oh, well, this is the weak. Like when like the Briscoes and FTR had the match, like, oh, well, this is the weakest of the match. Like, yeah, but they're all still fucking incredible. Like,
right.
It's not that.
This is still that bad. People who say that, but that's the reality of this.
Which I would.
Hey, I don't like this chocolate cake as much as this chocolate cake I had before. That's what that is. Exactly what that is.
This is probably my least favorite Okada Omega match, but it's still fucking incredible.
Like you're setting such a massive bar that it's like what do you want?
Yeah,
it's still better. Like we were all worried it was going to be like
flat?
4 stars, and we'd all be like, well, it was blah blah blah, and it was better than that. So I was happy with it.
I wish they would have played up the sternum more in the finish, because like maybe you have moments where like Okada's going for something that will devastate this man's sternum, and they're fighting for control the same way they used to fight for control of the Rainmaker. In the older matches, I thought they would do something like that. Didn't do that finish, and that's the only thing that kind of held me back from like, this is amazing. But this is about as good as you can expect from, I would say, Kenny Omega in the current physical condition that he's in. I think it's
one of my absolute favorite moments of the match was the bell pop. The
right.
bell pop happened, and
that was cool.
I mean, I'm speaking to somebody who was in the crowd. Like the anticipation and like the reception from the crowd for this match was just unmatched. I will say this. Like
I say this, and it's even weirder saying this at this show, given how many people were here. The AEW pay-per-view crowds are different than the
TV crowd. Yeah,
they're just it's weird.
They're smarter. They're smart. No disrespect.
Not even
disrespect.
People who appreciate it maybe a little bit more. Not saying we don't. These people don't appreciate it, but we just appreciate it a little bit more than what we think.
It's a different.
They're smarter. Y'all being scared. They're smarter.
No.
Being scared.
But these are the that was proof that there were a lot of people in that crowd that were there for that match.
Yeah.
So that they could see this match, even though maybe they knew it wasn't going to be as good, but they knew what it meant.
Now, do you think maybe some
who
of those
said that last year? And who said that on the show last year?
Do you think some of those people are being performative, where they know like the bell pop of like Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson? That's like a clip that gets passed around all the time online. Hey, we want to make sure we create our own all-in moment. We want to make sure, like, do you think that could be something like that?
I don't think so, Brandon. Those matches.
I agree. I'm just curious.
Yeah. Those matches were such cultural phenomenons, honestly, that I know everyone there. They knew what they were watching. They knew.
Right.
Even if they never seen those matches, they know of those matches. You know what I mean?
One thing I want to point out, like number one, like the Omega doing the Koi's Wrath and muscling Okada back into position was incredible because it could have easily been a botch and he muscled it up great. Something I want to ask though is like they haven't done it yet where no one is kicked out of the one wing angel, and do you think we'll ever see it at this point?
Well, Kenny did.
Well, no, but okay, no one's
him doing the.
I think eventually you will see somebody, but it won't be until Kenny's heel again. Like it'll be when Kenny's heel again, and then someone will kick out of it.
Okay, because my first thought was like if it wasn't Okada here, maybe Takeshita, because when they do a Takeshita babyface run.
I mean, to this day, there's only been one person to do it since he made his finisher, Kota Ibushi. Yep. But I feel like we won't see it until he's about to retire. He's going to get somebody. Right. That's what I think.
It could be if you're going. There's a lot of people that like think Kyle Fletcher should be on this like 2004 Randy Orton track. I am not one of those people. No. There are people who think this. That could be something you could do to accelerate his growth on the way there. If you want,
no, don't do that. Kyle Fletcher's linked with Ospreay. Takesha's linked with Omega, in my opinion.
You never know. Just a thought. I mean, I don't have much to say on this match. It's like I expected it to be like this match more than any. I guess is why I wasn't as high on it going into the weekend as everyone else. I expected it to be like 4 stars and not better than that. Just that. And I think it was probably a little bit better than I thought it would be. I would say, but yeah, I mean, I certainly didn't expect that high-end ceiling.
Right.
I thought the tag match would be better. So it was kind of exactly what I expected. I'm just happy the right guy won. I think that sets up Okada better moving forward.
I agree.
Yep.
Then should we talk about this women's match?
Hold on.
Wait, you got
Tay, what'd you think? What'd you think? Tay, you over there just quiet and letting us say, what'd you think?
I mean, you guys covered it all. I think we covered it last week that I thought it took a while to get going, which was a lot of our concern. But once you got to the finishing stretch, I thought it delivered.
Okay, all right. Man, a few words. This Taylor, man, a few words.
Tony Storm versus Mercedes Moné. Great match.
Great match.
Really enjoyed the finish. And Marky, why are you laughing like that? What is?
I feel like we dodged the bullet. I feel like we dodged. Great match though.
Why do you think he's laughing, Brandon?
I feel like we dodged the bullet.
But here's my thing about that. All of these people complained about what they thought was going to happen. It didn't happen, and they still complained. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't. What?
I didn't see. There was a discussion going on in the Discord.
No, there was one person that I addressed.
Let me plug it. Okay. Join our Discord. The link is in the description. Please join us and hear these discussions going on. I didn't really read into it because I didn't really care, but I seemed like people were kind of upset that Mercedes lost in this match.
No, there's no people. There was one person, and I addressed it, and I still haven't got an actual response. By the way, still haven't got an actual response. But yeah, that was it. No discussion.
But what I mean is that if you went on like Twitter and whatever, the people that were so upset about her like.
Creative
that
control.
She was going to be, the creative control and all of that. We're just like, oh, well, I guess she lost, and it's like, what the fuck? What?
That's classic though. Like they're loud until they're proven wrong.
But they're only like this about her. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I like LB's point though in the chat. You should be here, sir. You watching this? You should probably be up here. But I like this point he had in the chat where he was like, "Look, man, they really should have just like had 2 big matches instead of 1," which I'm kind of with in hindsight. You know what I mean? Because that way Mercedes probably could have still won, and then Tony would have still won.
Maybe it's coming. Maybe they will have another match. You don't know.
But it wasn't beyond this show though. That's the thing. I agree with that sentiment.
And one thing I told LV in the Discord that I want to just say it on camera, like I don't, and I he has a very good perspective on it, but I've seen it online as well. Like there seems to be the sense that there's nothing, not saying he's saying this, there's nothing for Tony to gain by winning because she's already the champion. And that's just something I fundamentally disagree with. And
Absolutely.
I guess we haven't talked about it enough on camera, how Tony has been booked the last 5 months. Right. I get she's the most over woman in the company. I get that she's one of the most top 5 over acts on the show. This woman loses frequently. She never has this aura where beating her feels like a big deal. Mina Shirakawa pinned her on TV before Double or Nothing, and like no one remembers it. Megan Bayne beat her on TV before Dynasty. Mariah beat her. Statlander beat her. She loses all the time. Like I just fundamentally disagree with just because she's the women's champion, we can't raise her stature even more by getting her this win over Mercedes. And so in theory, the logic is have Mercedes be champion, be Roman Reigns for a year, and then someone dethrones her and it's a big deal. We've gone ad nauseum on the show about why we don't like that path, but I think everyone's ignoring that. Why don't you give something to your most overact to help elevate her? This isn't like when John Cena in 2011 WWE would beat some up-and-coming undefeated mid-carder. And it's like, okay, he can't possibly go higher than he actually is in that company relative to how his push is relative to the rest of the roster. I get that. That's not the women have never main evented a pay-per-view. This was the longest women's match in AEW history. You can't just like, there's so much more the women can do in the overall scheme of the company. Tony's stature relative to like Hangman Adam Page, not just relative to Willow and Chris Statlander. I fundamentally disagree with there's nothing for her to gain. And I think she gains a lot from this. And I think this program gains a lot from this because if Mercedes had won and you redid Tony Mercedes, it would be a boring WWE rematch where not a single person would buy that you would change the title the other way. Because if Tony's going to beat Mercedes, she probably would have done it at All In, and we would have just been killing time. Now I feel like the rematch is a really big deal. Now there's credibility that either of the two can win the rematch, and I think you can main event a pay-per-view with it if you do it right. I think there's so much to be gained for Mercedes and for the women's division as a whole, and for Tony by having Tony win this match. And just because Tony was the champion going in, that doesn't mean nothing new was added here. And I feel like this is the best possible thing.
And I'm also with you. Go ahead, Jack. Go ahead.
I have not seen anybody say that. That would be because we stood here when you first brought up Mercedes losing months ago. A couple, like not list the last show, and we were all kind of and then we all kind of thought about it. We were like, you know what? Like I thought about it. I know, and was like, you know what? That actually is a better deal because then Mercedes can do what Mercedes is doing now, where she can run around, win belts, take on the people she wants to take on without having to worry about it. Basically, doing what she's doing and doing what apparently she wants to be doing, and then Tony can be Tony. I think part of where that is coming from that you're talking about is I think there are people that want, especially like Willow or Statlander or somebody, to beat Mercedes, and they don't feel like, oh, well, now they're just going to beat Tony. I think beating Tony is a big deal too. I mean, like you said,
it is now.
It's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have.
Like people are overthinking it. And again, I say this every time we come on here. If you can't see how much better the women are since Mercedes showed up, you're clueless. I don't know what you shouldn't even be like. It's not even talking ball. It's so much beyond that. You don't understand pro wrestling at all if you do not see what like how much better it is.
Or you're a hater. We can just start saying this, bro.
I mean, the guy that maybe the least the guy that likes Mercedes the least is the one saying that.
Yep.
So
there you go. Extra facts.
But I'm just saying that if he can sit there and go, hey, the women's product is better since she got here, no matter what you think of her, then why are anyways.
And to piggyback off Kid's point though, I don't care what you want to try to tell me. If you think Tony was a bigger star than Mercedes, the company itself is telling you that she wasn't, because Mercedes carries around all these titles. The story going into this match is that, oh man, we know this girl has no chance. If she struggled with Megan Bayne and struggled with Mina Shirakawa, she has no chance against the CEO. That was the story. Tony was the underdog. Like, she definitely needed this random guy in the Discord.
Oh, and I talked about this on the Discord. I want to just, sounds really weird, but I find it interesting that I'm not trying to put things like people are going to take this wrong way, but that that Mercedes was willing, especially in the match, to go with like the lesbian stuff in the match. I think that's so important because you can tell that Tony is purposely putting that stuff in matches for a reason, and that doesn't seem like something I would think that Mercedes would be like necessarily okay with per se, but she went with it. And
Tony
she went with
is a sex symbol now. She is a sex.
I mean,
symbol.
I'm just saying
Well,
that she went with it. So
It seemed like
her for that.
they seem like they wove it into the story of the match too. That like
Right.
Mercedes beats everybody, but this part of it is actually making Tony a tougher opponent for her to deal with. It seemed like they were pushing that angle.
Right.
I think it meant. Go ahead. Sorry, Josh.
No, I was just saying that since Tony did that I am queer promo, you've seen more and more and more of this. And again, this goes back to my point about Hangman, that there is a section of the fan base that has been there since the start that probably is really, really into that. So there, that's all I had to say.
Piggybacking off what Kit said, it's just like, I think in a way this kind of cements Tony as the woman in AEW. Like it, and in a lot of ways, like, she was in WWE, yes, but like she never got a fair shake there. So like she's definitely an AEW person, I feel like. And this is a great way of cementing her as the top woman and kind of giving her her moment. And Mercedes doesn't lose anything in this. And like you can go forward with the titles and everything like that. And I did not want her to be the women's champion and the TBS champion at the same time. It still is going to mean something for anyone to beat Mercedes. It's going to mean more to beat Tony now. So I really don't see any issue with this finish at all.
I think she does lose something, but I think it's just not outweigh. Like Tay put this well. Like, sure, whoever beats Mercedes for the TBS title, it now means a little less, but now beating Tony for the world title means more. And similarly, it's not like I can't see the logic in have Willow win the Owen and beat God. Mercedes hasn't lost in 3 years at All In next year. It's not that I can't see how that can't be beneficial. You have to ask
the company was suck for a year. It was suck for a year.
Does it outweigh the other damage it does along the way? And I think that's the conversation.
Right. I didn't want to have to sit
I said
through.
it in the Discord. No, go ahead.
I didn't want to have to sit through someone either beating Mercedes for just the TBS title and not the women's title, or her vacating the title for a fucking tournament, which would just lessen the belt, in my opinion. That was my biggest thing. I said it from the get-go. If Mercedes lost the TBS title in the build-up, then it was up in the air more. But with her going in as champion, I felt like she had to lose.
Like I said in the Discord, Mercedes losing this match is like dropping a $10 bill. You'll be all right without Starbucks for the day.
Right.
And even if she does win the world title like later this year, I still think it's better. Like Tony's better off.
Right.
The Mercedes world title run isn't as long. Maybe she won't have both belts by that point. It doesn't become the sanctimonious thing.
You can even do the thing where what if Mercedes doesn't beat Tony for the belt? She beats somebody else.
There you go.
And it's still like you can't, that's
and you can go back to it.
But also, like, you can play with the idea, like, Mercedes is now more desperate to win the belt. So, like, maybe she becomes more unhinged. Maybe she becomes more desperate to win the belt. There's a lot to go with this.
That's why I want this to be the start of her losing her mojo.
There you go. I agree.
The story is, I'm no longer the CEO. I need to revamp and maybe not be as corny and win that title. Maybe that's the.
This dude hates Mercedes.
I thought the Storm Zero off of Brett's rope was a fantastic finish.
Excellent finish.
I jumped out of my chair. Like normally me, Chase, Phil, and Brandon usually marked out at things at the same time. This was the one exception where I jumped out like solo. Like just jumping in the air. Like, fuck yeah, let's go.
So this match, I mean, it's cage match, so take that with a grain of salt. This match with 670 votes, we're talking about Toni Storm, Mercedes Moné. 670 votes has an 8.83.
I think that's low.
4 more votes, 674 votes, with a 8.84, a 0.01 addition. Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay defeat the Young Bucks. What did y'all think about this match?
This was my match of the night.
This is the second best match of the night.
Mine too, Tay.
Yeah, I had it second behind the main event, but yeah.
I thought it was just a good match. So
I got this fourth on a night. I have this fourth as far as the top 4 matches.
Are you going to tell the room that you got up to get a drink and go to the bathroom at the start of this match for whatever reason?
I watched the match. I knew you were going to bring that up. I sat there and watched the match. Yes, I wasn't sitting next to you. You were sitting next to me at the event. I was not sitting directly next to you, but I sat there and watched the match. And this is the one match, because you bring that up, the one match that I went back and watched on Amazon Prime.
Fine.
And still, I would probably have. And that's not saying this was a great match. This was a fantastic match for sure. I liked it a lot. Again, I will probably have this as my 4th favorite match of the night.
At least live, this is the one I was the most excited for. The total thing was just a finish. This was more so the
This was one that when I watched it back, I'm like, wow, I could see where people say that the crowd didn't sound as loud as it did, because I thought the crowd was pretty juiced for this match live.
100%.
But watching it back, it was like, damn, like it felt really quiet until like the big near fall started to happen for this.
When they did that crazy sequence with everyone going at it and like the crowd all stood up and I felt like this was the match that kind of started to turn of like, okay, we got something special with this show, because my God, was this match incredible. And I was actually shocked by the winners. I did not think that Ospreay and Swerve were going to win. I legit thought the Bucks were going to win, and they're going to build up.
You were shocked? I don't know.
I thought for sure that I'm like, okay, they're gonna. This is how they're gonna get Swerve and Ospreay out of the way for a year for the belt, and that way we don't have to hear about people bitching like, why isn't Swerve the champ or Ospreay the champion? But I thought for sure this was a clever way, but this entrance was just incredible. It was incredible. Also, the Bucks, this is maybe my favorite entrance of the night was the Bucks coming on that fucking boat, man. I love that shit. It was hilarious.
They're such douchebags, man. They're such douchebags.
They are douchebags.
But the thing about the boat was they had the announcer read that declaration of whatever that was,
and the fiddle music too, or the pipe music. It was great. I loved it.
Trish was saying
Trish
was saying the boat had cannons that were supposed to shoot the dollar bills out.
Oh, seriously?
I mean, they had a couple of gaffes, like Omega, like one side of his little
I
didn't light up as properly as it should have been. But there's a little bit more charming in those.
The only problem I had with this match, man, Will Ospreay was kicking out of too much shit.
Yeah.
My God,
it was very much a video game match. I mean, they just went and did a bunch of moves. I mean, granted, there was parts of this match I was like, I was losing my mind.
Like,
for sure.
I felt like I was watching Johnny Gargano in NXT, man.
Yeah, it was very much a takeover match for sure.
By the way, love all those main events. By the way, that's not me hating on Johnny Gargano.
I did love
the main event because Ospreay had already kicked out of like 7 BTE triggers. So
I did love. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Sam.
No, go ahead.
No, finish, man.
I basically was finished. I was just saying, Ospreay kicked out of like 7 BTE triggers. So when they came in and hit Hangman with it, it was like, well,
it's just
he ain't saying down to that.
It still worked. But I did love the spot of Swerve protecting Ospreay from the super kicks. That was great. I'm a sucker for that spot. That was so good. And like, I would mind seeing Ospreay and Swerve team again in the future. They were a good tag team, I thought.
I wanted to add, when we were talking about the entrance, I loved that Swerve and Ospreay were doing the let's go. What do you guys?
That was funny. That was funny.
You just reminded me. I'm a little mad at AEW production because I didn't know who was singing Swerve's song at the beginning. I didn't realize that was JoJo.
Yeah,
and I was so mad. Like, why did they announce that? It would have got a huge pop for her. And I feel like they did him a disservice by not announcing who was singing for her.
Yeah,
y'all don't know this, but I just wanted that to be Swerve's theme when he signed, because that was always his theme on the Indies. That's what I wanted for the longest, man. But them to do it, I thought he was just gonna come out to that, and I would have been like, yes, that's for me. But it worked. Though. It was fine. It was cool.
And it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Like when I saw that sequence of the Canadian destroyers, that flip sequence they did that got a huge pop. I was expecting that to be like the grifter screen grab of the weekend, where like the WWE accounts like post that, like, look at the stupid shit they do in AEW. It wasn't
without showing them selling right away, like they did.
Yes.
They sold for a while.
They sat on the mat for a long time, and at least myself, Chase, and Phil, because Brandon wasn't there, all immediately stood up and gave a roaring round of applause with the rest of the crowd. So just remember, knowing ball people, the live crowd fucking loved that spot. Don't listen to these losers.
The thing is they did the spot. They did the spot, then they did the other spot, and then they all died. And that's how you do that spot.
Yeah.
The problem is when you just start doing spot. That's not what they did. So
that crowd reaction after that spot was just incredible, man. Like you felt the whole audience be like they were instantly hooked. They were into everything after that spot. I felt like
it was also a good decision to put that match up because that match wasn't like immediately the big 4 in a row. They did this before the women's gauntlet and before the Hurt Syndicate match.
Yes.
And I think the show needed it for it to come earlier than expected.
I did feel bad for the women having to follow this because the women had to fight to get the crowd back a little bit.
But the women weren't being great either. To be
true, but I felt like it didn't.
I did not think the women's match suffered because of this match.
That's fair.
I think it suffered. I think it suffered because of who was. I think it was very much the problems with the women's match had to do with the women that were in the match, not with.
Oh man, did I like that morning, y'all? I'll say
this. I think that the entrances helped. Like everyone got a big pop. The only one that I don't think got a good reaction was Ty Mello. That's
because everyone hates her. No, that's
right. We'll get to that match when we get to it, I guess.
Well, we can do it now. Let's go from here to the Hurt Syndicate.
I mean, hang on. Is there anything else that anyone has to say about the tag match at all?
No.
Great match.
Other than the
I was slightly surprised at the winner, but I'm cool with the winner. I don't have.
Bro, we talked about it on the show.
We did. You predicted it, but I'm saying I'm still a little bit surprised about that. Considering what we saw the rest of the night, you thought you would have saw.
Tay, you were about to say something. What you were about to say?
I was saying the fork spot in the main event was my favorite spot, but my second favorite spot of the show was the double tornillo. Swerve and Ospreay did. Yeah. Swerve to the inside, Ospreay to the outside. I thought that spot was
that looked cool.
That was really cool.
I take no credit for predicting the results of the match. Like, by the way, if anyone watched the countdown, I may be one of the few people that did. The countdown treated the Swerve and Ospreay stip as such a joke. Like Will's like laughing about it, like I fucked around and got us in trouble. They didn't promote that dissension on Dynamite at all. Like it just seemed like something they threw in to give the match stakes. I will give myself credit for predicting the exact spot that would be the near fall in the match and then posting from the Discord. That is probably the best thing I said all year. But the match, I could have gone either way.
All right. Let's run through the rest of this card really, really quickly. The opening match, Ops versus Death Riders, World's Trios Tag. Did anyone was
fine. It was.
Was anyone else surprised like me that this opened the show?
I was very surprised by this. I thought
I was happy. I was happy because it meant that the show was going to be set out the way I wanted it to be set.
Where you get the stuff out of the way, and you just hit it with bang, bang, bang.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, when this was on, I was on my way home from Superman and IMAX, so I didn't watch it. I didn't even go back and watch it because everyone said it wasn't good. So
it's not that it wasn't good.
No,
it's a
TV match.
Yeah,
it was a TV match. Yeah.
Two things I liked about this. Number one, everyone beating the shit out of Yuta is amazing, and the crowd loved it. And two, Hobbs countering the Doomsday device into a power slam was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's not the worst. It's not the worst match on Cage Match.
No.
And I just will say. I get that Joe is incapacitated. Having Hobbs and Shibata, they can't interfere in the main event because their friend is in the hospital. Come on, man. The fate of the company's on the line.
Yeah. Even Joe would want you to go out there and true.
Show them going to the local medical facility.
Oh, don't say that word.
Casino Gauntlet match. I definitely thought this is one of, I don't want to say weaker because it seemed like it's bad, but just it wasn't as strong as we've seen previously, especially like last year's All In.
That's fair.
But I still enjoyed it.
I'm scared to say my opinion about this.
I was surprised. Go ahead, man.
I think I like the women's match more than this.
I don't think it's crazy.
Y'all were acting like this like the worst. That was like the worst match.
No. What I was saying was that the problems that the women's match had, because I still think it was good. But the problem the women's match had was because of the women that were in there that like took it down, and you had to
okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I was like, am I about to get yelled at?
No. I'm just saying that if you had that, I think the women's match would have been even better if you had better women in there.
I agree.
But you had some of the women in there were just like
we should criticize Tony Khan that this was. Did you know this was the second longest match on the show behind the main event? More than Omega Okada.
You can't do that.
35
can't
minutes.
do that.
35 minutes.
Can't do that. Can't do it.
Keep these matches on TV. I
Period.
think they're better for TV.
Well, not even that. It's. I think this match really did suffer from it being on this card. So many of the people that you would want in this match, in a match like this, even if they were just in it, couldn't be on this match. Couldn't be in this match because they were farther on the card. So it came off kind of.
You didn't have the surprises like you did last year. You had
there's no
Nigel
surprise
last year, Zack Sabre Jr. You had
Nigel.
Ricochet debut. Like,
Yeah.
right.
Right.
That was a
Man,
lot.
respect Juice Robinson, man. Respect Juice Robinson. What
Juice
the
got a
He
huge
looked terrible.
pop. I hate the no beard look is terrible for
look.
Juice.
Yeah, the look
But-
is what I'm saying.
The look, yeah. But yeah, like he was like the only surprise entrant. There was really no other surprises. And that was kind of a disappointment because like we were predicting like, okay, maybe Orange Cassidy will be back, maybe Adam Copeland. I like what they did with Copeland more, but like I thought this would be like the big return match for everyone to come back. And it wasn't that way.
And all the stories they were telling, like the callback to Bandito Takeshita, which did get a pop live,
Right.
the MJF, Mark Briscoe Mystical feud that we've talked about, and like the Anthony Bowen segment, this new feud they're doing, I guess, with Ricochet and the Gun Club. That's all fine and all, but it's told in like a 3-minute increment, and then a new guy would come out and a new story is being told, and it's just too long. Like nothing really got to settle. And
Until Max Caster came out, and then
I mean, we complained that
minutes for that entrance.
We complained about both of these about both the women's and the men's being on the show because it really just needed one.
But this was worse than I expected.
But-
I enjoyed it live. I haven't gone back and watched it, but I will say that like it was very noticeable that like they had a lot of time with just two guys in the ring and everyone just out on the floor not doing anything. And that's bad. You can't be doing.
I mean, that's a lot of.
But I
I
know, but they need to work on that. They need to be better about that.
Yeah, I mean that's
Hey, man,
industry-wide situation.
Does this match kind of confirm that we're not getting the Apuestas with MJF and Mystico? Is that just not happening?
It's gonna happen.
No,
It's gonna happen.
I wouldn't say that.
I think it's gonna happen still.
Yeah,
I think it's
I'm-
gonna happen.
You think he loses hair before a world title match?
Maybe that's how he gets his heat back.
No.
Maybe
he loses his hair, but he wins the belt.
Maybe he loses the world title match before he loses his hair.
Okay.
When's
Cool.
when's the CMLL anniversary show?
September, right?
September. So you still have.
Okay.
So he could be the Forbidden Door match.
Yeah, he could be the Forbidden Door match. He could be the.
Is it before or after All Out?
Before
It was before.
It's probably a week
right?
or so before.
Maybe.
But still,
I just want them to do that match, man. I don't care what
I do
you
too.
think.
They have to. They have to.
Any thoughts on Adam Cole?
Wait. Last thought on this match. I spent an hour practicing the Mystico chorus in the mirror at the Airbnb, and I did get to do it. And then Brian Alvarez said on his show that we can't have people sing this song because it's in Spanish and a lot of AEW fans don't know the words. And then he said, if you're that one asshole out there that's listening to it that knew the words, you're the only one.
My buddy Luke looked up the lyrics as well. He didn't learn them in time, but he looked them up.
I sang the whole chorus. I was proud of myself.
That's awesome, man.
Wow. What? Oh, go. I'm sorry.
there were a lot of people like waving and looking like they were trying to sing. So I don't know what.
Yeah, but Josh, you know that vibe. Like they want to be part of the concert, but they don't actually know the words. They're just playing along.
We're just making noise.
That's me. Any thoughts on Adam Cole? Sucks.
I mean,
that's all I was gonna
sucks.
say.
I mean, that's. I mean, it's. I mean, that I would say that.
Hold on, come on. What you say, kid?
I said, fuck Kyle Fletcher. He got him.
Hey,
sorry.
It was a fucking clothesline on Thursday night that apparently did it.
Voices of Wrestling's second best wrestler into the age of 30. Good job, Val. Good job.
Dude. Cole's a Fabergé egg at this point. I feel bad, but the guy's a Fabergé egg.
He's been hurt the whole year.
Yeah.
Not on a concussion.
Not on the concussion.
But
He's been on
but
commentary more.
it hasn't been the concussion, but I think that concussion, a year and a half ago, I think that
It really fucked him up.
I think
It really fucked him up. It was really kind of like when he met, as soon as Cole mentioned the possibility of retiring, you felt the whole audience just shift where like it was like, because we were all like, oh, okay, he's gonna come out here and vacate the belt and say something, blah blah blah. And then like as soon as he mentioned that, it's like, oh shit, this is really bad. And yeah, it sucks. And like it's a shame
the
that
word is he was going to do that. It had to be talked down from doing it.
Yeah. It sucks, and I hope he comes back. But like, man, it's like you got to be thinking about like your long-term life, and if this is a concern, maybe it's for the best.
Look, as someone who studies neurology for a living, like not all concussions are the same, and obviously you take extra precaution because of his history, but it's not a guarantee that his course will be exactly like it was last time. Obviously, if it's exactly like it was last time, like Josh was saying, that's really bad and like problematic. Let's see how, like, I think that's why he wanted to retire, because the initial shock of like, fuck, I have to go through that again. Like, hopefully, maybe he's feeling.
And that one a year and a half, that wasn't the first one either.
Yes,
like he's had multiple ones that were not great. So,
and this is kind of Steve Young-esque, ain't it? It's kind of crazy.
It feels like it's the end, even if he can come back. It's just been a lot of them, and it wasn't going well before either.
Yeah, it's the buildup also of even if the concussion's not the problem, what if he fucks up the ankle again?
Right.
It's definitely the last time.
The match got replaced with a 4-way. Dustin Rhodes won the TNT
title.
title.
I think this was, hey, we're going to give Dustin for the feel good moment, and then he'll lose the title
soon.
A lot of people are upset and not realizing that. It's like,
I don't understand
for a short period of time.
Though. Yeah,
hang on. Because here's the thing. You didn't want to have Cole come out and announce he's possibly retiring, and then immediately a heel win the fucking belt. You give it to Dustin, and everyone's like, okay, we feel a little better now.
You get his nephews out there. You get the feel good moment in Texas,
exactly.
Right? He was emotional about it.
He sold it well. Yeah,
he
made it
very well.
His reaction, I think, made it better.
He's gonna lose it very quickly.
Yeah, he's gonna lose it and get mained by Kyle Fletcher, and then we can move on. Like it's not.
He might lose tomorrow. Like
exactly. It's not that big a deal.
I
think he could potentially build a decent little angle out of it too, because now Dustin's got 3 belts, and you could put all 3 of those belts on the Callis family.
Right.
The women's Casino Gauntlet match, Athena won. I thought it was.
She was Athena was hyped, like in a way.
The Supercard match, when she had she had a solid match, but
she was
Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, she was hyped.
I'll bury myself because I buried Brandon for missing the start of the tag match. I then left during this match, and then Brandon said, "You're not. Look at you disrespecting the women like that, going up to leave." And I watched this whole match on my phone with my AirPods on while I got Whataburger for myself and Chase because we spent way too much money on barbecue at the start of the show.
Nice.
That's funny.
They have Whataburger
in the stadium.
Yeah. With the spicy ketchup. I had that with the spicy ketchup. It was very good.
I missed the last match. I missed the 4-way match getting food for my wife. So
the match seemed fine. These matches are just too long. Like
they're too long, and this one.
I mean,
I appreciated y'all. I appreciated y'all popping for sure. I was like, yeah.
Oh, dude, I lost my shit. I was so happy she was there, and then I felt bad because like she went in and kind of didn't really do a lot in the ring.
She worked and hurt though. Like she.
Right. Yeah. I knowing that now. But also like Harley Cameron got a fucking massive pop, and it's really a shame that she couldn't be in this match because I think she would have got maybe the biggest pop of the match if she was in there.
Tay, what were you gonna say?
I think this match suffered a little bit because, at least for me, and it wasn't even that it was hindsight. I thought Athena was the only possible winner in this match.
Yeah,
barring some out of left field surprise.
I mean, Willow or Statlander could have won it, but like Athena winning it feels like it actually makes something matter in a way.
Right. Yeah. So I think that coupled with the women's division, even though it is the best it's been, it's still a have and have not division. And when you got 12 women in there, it really shows the gap.
Yeah.
We've said a lot of nice things about the show. I hope There's got to be some sort of change, whether it's don't do them both on the same show, whether it's the timing.
I mean, we said that before that you
we did, but it was just
and we said that one of these matches needed to go, like you said, super quick, and we didn't get that.
Why not? Here's an idea. Do one on the pre-show and then do one on the main show.
Can't do that.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Pick one and do it.
Because the one that you're going to do on the pre-show is the women, and then people will get pissy. And
well, then do the men. Then do the men.
Markeem,
let MJF really get the first pop of the night, like he always wants. You know what I mean?
Being there live, the pre-show, there are people just not at their seat anywhere nearby. There are so many people wandering around before that. So you don't want them to feel like they're actually missing something valuable. The pre-show stuff is
designed. Sit your ass down. Like, I don't know.
The pre-show is designed to get like people started. It's not like nothing on the pre-show should really matter. In all honesty,
you got to
come in the stadium and sit down. How about
that's
that?
what I did. But I'm just saying, other people didn't do that.
Markeem, people were waiting in line for an hour for merch. An hour.
Help
those.
The one
I was waiting in line.
Yeah,
help those people.
That's a good point, but still, man, like I don't know, man. Just you can't have both of them.
Again, I don't agree. I don't disagree with you in theory, but like it's in execution, you're gonna have so many people fucking miss that match. It would ruin the match, and it wouldn't get the reaction that people wanted.
Last match, tag title match, Hurt Syndicate beat Jet Speed and Patriot. I think the biggest thing from this is the last portion of this match when Adam Copeland came out.
Got a full pyro and everything.
So yeah, got a full pyro.
I mean, he was the only one that did
himself.
I know. And
you know what? I liked that because
you did. Wow.
I did.
Brandon
I did.
I hated it.
I'm okay with it because he was saving Christian, and like he still kind of doesn't like Christian.
Right.
Hold on.
Like,
why did you like it, Josh?
I just liked it because I thought it was a good callback to how all of this started. So
you're just saying that because you like comics. My thing with this, right? He does all this pyro and stuff. They're about to give.
That I did not like. He needed to run out and.
They're about to give Christian the concerto, right? I would still just do the shit and then run out the ring.
He needed to.
Hey, bang, and then
he needed to run right out. All of that. That part I didn't like.
That was WWE.
Yeah, it was very WWE. So
especially. He came out with like the murder weapon and still was like
and
doing all the bullshit. Yeah, it's like either you're killing these guys or you're not.
In the moment, though, no one cared. We were all excited to see him.
We've had concerns for months on this show about the timeline, and I don't have any concerns now. I feel like they did a little too much because like they did the breakup and the Edge of Christian initial meeting
on one show.
But that's what I mean.
I'm okay with it because it felt more like it kind of almost felt like he was just going out there to get at FTR these guys. It wasn't necessarily about saving Christian, but it was more about getting at FTR.
You could have done the go find yourself thing like on Dynamite or Collision.
Did you guys like
that?
Yeah,
you could, you know, and honestly, I hate backstage segments, but that's probably a perfect one. You see Christian in the back surrounded by nobody, and then you hear a banging on the door and it's Edge, and then I'm calling him Edge. He's Edge.
Yeah, it's Edge.
But and then he tells him that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
What do people
any final thoughts on the show?
Wait.
Well, on the match itself, there are two spots I really liked. One was Shelton German suplexing Bailey out of the ring, which is awesome. And two was the Jet Speed doing the double hurricane spot. That was really cool. Like we're
also Jet Speed's gear, amazing. If you know, you know.
And also, I did like that I thought it was going to be Nick Wayne turning babyface on Christian, and I liked that they turned Nick Wayne heel. That was kind of a surprise for me a little bit.
Brandon, you don't have any thoughts on the pre-show?
No, we're not talking about. We're not talking about.
No, you don't have to go match by match. It's a holistic thing.
Trent pie facing Big Jeff.
That was awesome.
That
was great. I also got like the first big reaction of the night. I felt like that was great.
Big Boom AJ was great, and I'll just say it's the same match it always is. It was fun. Yeah. The alternative to that match is a boring, generic 6 to 8 man tag. You're not getting your Bandito versus Nick Wayne classic that you guys. Maybe you guys are right that they should be doing this in the pre-show, but they don't. So insofar,
you know what? I would rather see. Here's the thing. I think if you're gonna bring guys like this in on the pre-show is fine, especially people like this who you're bringing them in because they're social media people anyways, and so you're putting them on the social media platform. So I think that's fine.
They're open.
Right, and it works. Like I want both. I want the really good matches, and I want this because I think they both have places. So
I'm fine with this stuff on the pre-show. Absolutely, I have zero issue.
Give it about a year or two, you'll see the Rizzler start getting physical, and then the place will really explode.
Right.
One thing though, I don't want to fucking hear AJ Boom's fucking theme song anymore. I hate that song. It's so terrible, and they play it for so long because that goes around the whole ringside and shakes everyone's hand. Like, get in the fucking ring, dude. God damn.
I'm not too proud to admit that I sang it word for word.
God.
No, I appreciate that he loves this shit though, because there's so many people like him that just come in and they do it. He loves the shit, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And if you ever see his interviews, he promotes the fucking product.
Right.
He cares.
Not just his match too. He talks about everything.
No,
it's gonna be a great show. You know what I mean? Yeah.
He's a great ambassador for the company. 100%. I that's why I don't have any issue with him being on the show.
Any last thoughts on All In Texas?
Great show. I think the undercard does kind of hold it back for being an all-time show, just in my opinion. I still thought it was great. I had an awesome time live. I do think it's fair for people to think the show was too long. I think it's fair for people to think the undercard kind of hurts like the all-time legacy of the show, but as a live experience, I couldn't have had more fun. And we all had a blast watching it together, and they did a great job.
I'm okay with a show like this not being an all-time show because this is a different type of show. I think that's the other thing as well. Is this a different type of show?
Vibes.
Right. It's about vibes. It's about, like I said before, that's why the entrances are important. That's why all of those things are important, is because this is not that type of show. This is a stadium show. Stadium shows are different. This isn't in front of 5,000 people. This is in front of at least 25,000 people. It's a different type of show, and people need to kind of understand that. It's like back in the day, you would watch these dome shows or these big giant shows, like in the 80s, and it would be you'd be like, oh, this is cool, but I'm missing the stuff that I like from New Japan. I'm missing the juniors. I'm missing because the juniors don't come off as well in front of in a dome show. So
no, they do not.
No, they don't.
Any quick, super quick thoughts about Paul Levesque running all these shows this past week?
Didn't work.
He got fucked.
Didn't work.
He got fucked.
Did anybody watch any of them? Y'all watch?
Yeah.
Bill Goldberg doesn't seem very happy.
Yeah.
Goldberg buried the product. I did see the last two Evolution matches. I just want to say one quick thing. When Jade fought Asuka at the Saudi show, I did not watch the match, but I heard Dave and Brian's review of the match, and they said that Asuka was on offense like 90% of the match, and then Jade randomly won at the end. And I was like, oh, that's strange. That's kind of against the archetype of what you would think the big dominant wrestler would do. This match, which I did watch, Jade sold for 90% of the match, and Naomi was in control for most of the match, and then Jade hits Jade through a table, wins at the end. It's almost like they don't trust Jade.
It's because she doesn't trust. It's because how she knows how to wrestle is not how they. I firmly believe that. Like, not that she's a great wrestler, not that she's poor, because she's not. But the way she was taught to wrestle is not the way they teach their people to wrestle, and she doesn't know how to do that. And so
she needs to be in fucking NXT then. Send her to NXT then.
No, it'll be worse. It will be worse.
It'll be worse because she's gonna be in there with so many terrible.
Right.
Terrible.
She was taught how to go in there, have someone lead her to a match. Nobody in that company. Asuka might be able to do that.
Yeah,
you've got maybe 5 or 6 women that would be able to do that, and most of them aren't going to wrestle her. So there you go.
Yeah, like it wouldn't shock me if she just loses to Tiffany. The optics of that would be awful. Not that they care about that.
I didn't think of that. I didn't even think of that shit.
Horrible online. But it really wouldn't surprise me just because it just seems like this is getting worse and worse the longer it goes. And I will say in the main event's getting a lot of hype. I watched it. I thought it was really, really good. I thought it could have been great. I thought the cash and finish killed like the ceiling of this match because it seemed like the match was supposed to promote, look at these two women that can put on a classic. They can give you as good of a wrestling match, if not better, than anything the men can give you all year long. And that was the whole aura of the match. And I think a lot of that is kneecapped by just saying, you know what, fuck the wrestling. Let's give you the cash in, the moment, the surprise, all that crap that they always overemphasize instead of the actual in-ring product. I thought that pissed me off a lot, and that's just emblematic of who they are.
And I'm with you, kid, because I was into it too. I watched. That's the only match I watched from all these shows. The main event of that one, and I was like, man, this is really going along well. I might have to come on here and be nice to the WWE. And then they did that, and it was weird because they could have did the same thing after the match.
Yeah.
They could have picked somebody and then just do it. They could have.
No, got to milk Rhea, beating Io for even longer. That's classic WWE right now. Is they keep pushing the finish line of these stories further and further down the road, and got to keep watching. Got to see when this happens.
And truly, like I know Michael Cole is always awful. Michael Cole was horrible during this match.
Really bad.
Really
as bad as you can imagine. So like I think it's a really good match, borderline great. I don't think it's going to deserve a lot of the hype it's going to get, and I would have been a lot nicer if not for that finish. It's unfortunate.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have came on here and been like, great match, but I can't even do that because they fucked it up. Even when, like I said, even when they're good, they still suck. Even when they're good.
Good way
Real
to say
quick, one, I want to promote our Discord. Our Discord, I think, has been fantastic so far, and it's been really good this past week. If you haven't joined, please go into the description. You can see our link. Go to the Discord and join it. Join our discussion. But I want to thank everyone who had the intention of joining here as far as like being on our stream here. We have a lot of people who are very interested in it, and we definitely appreciate it. We appreciate all the love that people have been giving us. I have created something that I'm hoping that we can be able to implement kind of going forward. Down in the description, you can be able to see an option to a Google form. So that way, if you wanted to be able to send in questions to be able to be answered on these shows kind of going forward, feel free to give your questions and we can be able to talk about them in the future. Whether it be questions for something that's specific for right now or evergreen topics, we definitely invite you to be able to go in there and give us a question so we can be able to answer it in the future. So whether it be a separate video where we do a bunch of questions or if we have some extra time that we can be able to answer those questions, definitely just send those in, give us your name, and we can be able to read those off and talk them all to everyone that's participating here on the.
What's coming up soon? Anything coming up soon? We might be able to do that the next show.
G1 next weekend.
G1 and SummerSlam. So.
Oh my! I need to bitch about the SummerSlam match already. I'm gonna have to bitch about that, man. Fuck.
Yeah.
Another time.
Go with that. Oh. But yeah. Any last thoughts there, anyone?
Nope.
God bless it. God bless AEW. Thank you for an amazing weekend. I had a ball.
God bless all of wrestling. All of non-WWE wrestling.
Even some WWE wrestling
stuff, man.
If you,
a lot of good stuff going on right now, and I think it's a really cool time to be a fan. I feel like every company that I care about is legitimately starting to gain momentum, except All Japan Pro Wrestling. And I'm just being accepting them; they don't count. But it's a really good time to be a fan. It really is.
Wrestling is the best thing on the planet, easily.
Awesome. We'll be back in a week or two.
Yep. You guys.
2 weeks.
Awesome.
Later.
Thanks all.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Talk to you later. As